Good morning. This is the Crypto Day morning. Today's date comes in that of Friday, the 29th of March, 2019. All bets, trades, and of the like, well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. Bitcoin charts. Well, on the daily term, what I like about this is the multiple hits we've had amongst this level of resistance, both on the early half and in the second half, making this very comparable to an inverted head and shoulders pattern, and very similar to how theta looked recently with a dysfunctional right head. The same thing on this one here. Why didn't this market, and even a dysfunctional everything? Because this low is supposed to be higher than this one, and oh my goodness! But the reason why those patterns, thus the head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders patterns, are so strong, or its reliability, or why it makes sense, is the same reason it makes sense here. And getting above that key neckline area, and it's at the lower end of it now, near the 4100. Well, it's probably got a decent chance of having a very good break. Moving forward, I like on the daily how we've had this last hit on the lows. We had this update on Wednesday, a pause day yesterday, and today breaking out higher. Things are looking very productive. Now, inserting the Fibonacci levels, we are at this key point at 4098.16. I recalculated these to be exact numbers on what was pretty close to what the exact highs and lows were. And there is no such thing as an exact high or low trading on multiple exchanges. I guess exact high here, and well, that just means Fibonacci in the area of 4100 is always good. With that being said, let's take a look at this on some other time frames. Single hour, getting up to this point, having a decent sized red candle down there after that. Still before no longer shown, well above the 18 average on here. And if it's going to come any place like to where it came from, we're looking at 40 and a third. There we can see on the 15-minute time frames, it pierced below it once, then pierced above it, like a double hit on it. And then the 5-minute time frame here. Double top-ish, and then it's kind of like cup and handling its previous high. That to me is all short-term stuff anyway, looking at the 5-minute for what it's worth. Because a breakdown here could mean going down to like 40.33 or 40.40. Yeah, so that's all like nonsense to me. Now, as far as nonsense or incorrectness, it was. I wasn't surprised watching. I can't say I wasn't surprised, but how often on game shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire do they get the answer or the question wrong? Well, you really got to hope that they get the answer wrong. But what happens when they get the question wrong? And I noticed that yesterday on an older episode. I was watching some millionaire on YouTube, and the question was incorrect. Let me bring it up on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 are the first 6 numbers of the Fibonacci sequence. What's the 8th number? Well, the 8th number of the Fibonacci sequence is 13. The 9th number is 21, followed by 34, 55, 89, 144, 233, plus 144 is 3. Oh, I'm not going to continue any further. The first 7 numbers of the Fibonacci sequence are 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Not 1 and 1. Incorrect question. And then going even further on this, to me, 2 numbers that had to be on there for this, I guess, assuming that we'll start with this. 17 and 21 had to be there for sure. But where is your 13? Just in case I go the next number after it. Oh, it goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. I mean, that should have been on there as well. 17 made sense for incorrectly figuring this out. Oh, gain of 1, gain of 2, gain of 3. Well, gain of 4 on 8 is 12, and gain of 5 on 12 is 17. So I understand that one there. 38 I have, and 29 I don't even know. But the first number on the Fibonacci sequence is 0. You start with the binary numbers of 0 and 1, and you keep moving forward from that point on. And this is Fibonacci retracement, which takes the sequence numbers, and when you do so, you can get Well, the key numbers 23.6, 38.2, 61.8%, so on and so forth. I spent a good time on Fibonacci, so I'm pretty sure on this. All right, let's talk about one of my teachers from back in the day who's put out a new video that I haven't seen. I wasn't even planning on talking about this because I just did a search and found, wow, cool, I'm going to watch this today. And the video I was going to talk about, I just watched a couple days ago, and this was from 3 years ago. Chat with Traders, the science of technical analysis versus the art of trading, from Brian Shannon at Alpha Trends. This was a gentleman whom I learned via what I do pretty much, or who I copied from, I guess, or just moved on from back in 2007. I like this video, but this 34-minute one was 1 week ago. Chart Summit 2019, my favorite swing trade setup, version 5. And there we can see the similarities to, well, this is 9 years ago. This would have been a little after, actually, I was first learning from him. So therefore, let's just quickly show some of the older videos. And there's a good chance that on possibly this day here, I watched this video with very little idea, but gaining a lot more knowledge of what he was talking about. It was actually around this time when I first heard about this gentleman. Might have been even a little bit after it. And then I would go back and watch some of these older videos in time. And then when came like November the 12th, I most certainly probably would have watched this video moments after it came up, as well some people are doing with mine today. And yeah, so if you want to know where I got my ideas from, well, there's your answer right there. Now moving on back to the charts, let's finish off with a few alternate coins. And Ravencoin, it keeps on going higher. And one of the things you'll often hear Brian Shannon say that I've stuck within a few times here and there. I don't say as much as he does, and that is oftentimes, or not oftentimes, always, only price pays. So therefore, if you are short here in any way and you're wrong, I don't even know how you short in this crypto market. If you sold early and then you lost out on gains, you lost out on gains. If you were able to buy at these lower prices, sell, and then go down and you get big gains below, only price pays, you can have phenomenal gains in these kinds of markets. But if people are willing to still buy at the prices that are offered on the ask rate, and there are bid orders that are just not getting filled and they keep on going north in price, then that shows buyers are in control. The buyers are the ones in this market, and they will be until they're not. And they have been in control in that way ever since they were able to reverse the trend. As it was a downtrend, okay, establishing a level of resistance is what it's doing. Okay, still hasn't came back to the band yet, and that's just part of the game in this. Not always when I go through the 4 steps in reversal is it going to do it. But then at some point you have to say to yourself, okay, enough's enough, it's a bull market. Because the buyers really came in control really from this point in here, from day 1 on February 26th. And it has never been relinquished. They took a small breather here, but whenever you can have a phenomenal gain like this and you come down to the 18 in this manner and then you leave it, well, that's taking a breather. And it's in need of a breather again. But it was in need of a breather here when it was up to 471. And then it goes all the way up to 717, has a small breather, comes back down, continues on, takes a bit bigger of a breath down to here. And now it has been going on, a little intermediate breath here. Looks like it might be trying to here, but it looks like it might. Or just a small break, if you will. I don't know how high this can keep going up. It's going to go down for a decent retracement at some point, but that's the key word, some point, and at what price level. For if you're going to go from 300 to 1500, I'm at least looking for at minimum a 50% correction on a bullish level. And if it goes up to say 4,000, then I'm going to be looking for it to come back to maybe like 1500 or 1400 or 1200. And if it goes to 10,000, then I'm going to be looking for it to come back to 2500. And that would be a 75% or, yeah, 75% correction. But basically what I'm saying is the bigger it is going up, the bigger the retracement should ought to be. As far as DGB is concerned, the price action came back to where it came from in here on the 26th of March. Since then, it has, or 25th rather, it has continued to go sideways, ranging below where this 300 level is as support, resisting about 316. Is today the day it breaks down for a further retracement, maybe make a lower, possible higher low? Because you got the point A low of like 230 or whatever it is below 240, and then this 400 high. Right now, that low is in at 3. But it's most likely looking like it's favored to be noticeably lower, especially when we look at it on the shorter term. But before we do that, on the weekly chart, it's one of those attempts to revert the trend. It still can go down to about in the 260s to meet the 18 average of lows. So therefore, in shortening it out, the 4-hour term time frame, we can see here more that this line has been that support, and now it's resisting it amongst this level. Can we see it more clearly on the hour? I have to say so, yes, because we come down here, and I'm going to remove this line anyway, so I'm going to start drawing on here. But we come down to this low, and the reason why I do a whole bunch of drawings, it's just a pain in the ass if I draw like 20, 30 different things to keep this line and remove everything I drew. And again, the range-bound market, I don't know, again, I didn't say that the first time. But it establishes lots of resistance and support in this general same area. And then when it came down here again, as if this makes too much of a difference, but it is of note. This one did pierce extra compared to these ones, but that was like whatever. But when it managed to come up to here, it resisted the 18 average of highs, where it went above it, it resisted it, but after supporting it, it got above it. And then in here, it got above it. So this was the first time in the trend when things changed, where it wasn't able to come up to the spots, even though it was in a lower high level, where it did before. For a lower high level, would have been up around here. And of course, now we see all of this hanging in there, congesting at this lower end, resisting this area of support on the short term. So to me, it does seem as if maybe another leg lower may occur. As far as theta is concerned, we have it in a situation where it came down to this previous area where it came from at 26. Since that point on the single hour time frame, the action coming up hitting another test around this 29, which it had before its last previous low. And it's had a pretty okay sized decline, but it's just an okay one. However, it's near that 61.8% fib level from this low to this high. And it's about as far as you want to go to make a higher low from that point A low. And again, the shorter we go, the more like, yeah, whatever it's going to be. To me, as I'm looking at this, we still could have support in this level, but I'm going to be looking for a decent bounce regardless whenever this stops going down. Whether it will be a bullish or bearish one, time will only tell. For a bearish situation, and would mean from here, maybe coming up and finding a lower high above the 18 average of lows somewhere. And then if this isn't the low, well, maybe it's going to have a significant lower low before. And this isn't significant. In here, okay, well, maybe that might be the general area for where it goes to as far as some key levels on here. Like a pierce below 2,000 could very easily still come into place. And at this stage, I was going to be buying this with most likely Bitcoin, but I'm now trading it up against Dash. But there is advanced scenarios in trading two coins together, one of which is if they both have decent sized declines together, do you want to buy both coins? And my answer to that will be yes, I will be. If the market comes down here, the market being theta, And Dash doesn't really decline. I'll take my Dash and I'll buy Theta. If not, they both decline pretty decently. Dash also goes down like 20%. Then I'll just buy them both. And the other one is if they both go up big together, just like we've seen many times in 2017, then you get to the stage where you're just going to liquidate them into Bitcoin, either for Bitcoin use or for buybacks later on. And then if this is the bottom, well, we're going to be talking about the next move after that. Because to me, it's just going to be somewhere. And what did I... It's good. So you come from this low, this high, assuming it's this low now, next. That means you might have a rally up to here. Maybe it comes back here again. You're just most likely going to get it. And even having spots like this that could occur in these altcoin markets, it is what it is. And that's why when we have coins like AID doing all of these lines go higher, all these buys that fill, and then the price just goes back down over and over and over again. Right now, lately, has not only been no exception, but it's been a nice prime time area. Yeah, not the last 2-3 days, but we had this day, which followed a couple decently before then, but still a good amount of time. And then we had two in a row in here, and then another one a couple days later, and then at low volatility having really the same situation happen again now for its third consecutive day. Today's high comes in at 1500. The current price is 1333. So that means it's had to retrace about 10% to go from this high to where it currently is in that of now. Within the 18, it's holding it well, and we have some decent sized volume here, so that's something to indicate to me. This tells me one of two things is on the horizon. Either another good leg higher is going to be happening soon. As to me, volume can either be maybe a prelude, or usually oftentimes something like this is a prelude to another big event that comes, which to me would show better volume coming forward, but in a consistent level, and probably a breakout day having higher one, but not guaranteed. That's as if that matters. Price is what pays. And that's the first one. The second one to me is a top. Because, again, one volume is it can start a nice little... I can see it's be like a early indicator to a good rally. Or on tops like this, it's just that. And that means time is going to be a while before it gets back to here. Price decline of significant proportions and or time correction is usually what is the lead or the indication from something like this. But its overall volume to me is still nothing magnificent. I'm actually leaning more towards the former, and it's as if to me whatever the market does is what it does, and if it goes down I'm going to buy order fill, and if it goes up it's going to be sell order fill. Let's just take a look next at Doji. I don't need this line here anymore. But how exciting this is when we do multiple time frames. Start off with the 1 minute. Okay, well this tells me that the bid-ask price is 51 and 50. People are trying to sell at 51 and they're trying to buy at 50. And if you want to buy, it costs you 51. If you want to sell, it costs you 50. And it's just going on back and forth. It's been doing so for quite some time. On the 5-minute chart, oh, how exciting it is to see this. You can see the lines actually move. And that's because of the 18 average and its mathematical calculations. And how exciting it is when you see something like this. And really what we're seeing is a very liquid right now, not that volatile market. I mean, this is the 4 hour, so for the last almost 2 months, 2 months basically, a low of 49 and a high of 57, with the majority of its time between like 49 and 53. And then we got the daily time frame. I mean, it's just crunching in there within the 18, not doing much. But when it's ready to go, we've seen here in August, like, okay, wow. It just goes from 30 to 110. Overall, it's just an interesting market because it just chops up and down. It's pretty much in the middle of the up and down choppiness. So to say it's a good buy or sell right now based on the pattern, it's you should be finishing your selling, starting your buying, I guess would be the way I would put it, I guess, if anything. Because to me, right now, as it plays, the buy zone is between 30, like 40 and lower, and the sell zone is like 90 and higher, 88, 85 and higher. Alrighty then. Thank you for tuning. And yeah, by the way, when you do this, this just means that, I mean, just buying back and forth with my buy low, sell high strategy. It's just it's an interesting market because you could just amazingly outperform a market like this, and then some when you have moves like this. The nice large volatility here that come into place. And one thing about volume is it's really hard to judge volume on something like this, as these can get traded on multiple exchanges. And a better example might be something like, well, Litecoin on Bittrex is a huge example. As we can see within the volume in here, that it was really, really big in 2017 and it just faded off. And well, what happened in here to fade the volume off? The answer was Binance coming in business. And that's just why I really can only put so much into it. And what's very interesting is I was arbitraging Litecoin back in here. And it worked out that on Bittrex, it was so easy to get a good price on that site. It's not today. You're basically paying probably a good percent oftentimes to get, at least the bid ask ratio could be a good percent sometimes from the two prices. Where before then, it could have been that way, but the action was higher and it was very easy to put an order in the situations like that, where if say at today's price is at 149, say the bid price to buy might have been 14892 and the sell might have been 15016 or something, that it wasn't too hard to sell around the 150 number or buy in the low 149 and actually get them filled. Today, with that ratio like that, it is very difficult. Not only do you not see buyers and sellers coming, but then you have other people in automated bots, scripts, just outbidding you in the game of, well, the bidding war, as I call it. And I'll conclude this video with a 5-minute time frame on Bitcoin as it continues to correct within this 18 average. But this is all short-term nonsense as it is anyway. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.